Welcome to another episode of The Journey, a podcast from Forest Springs. I'm Jake, and I'll be your host, and today I'm excited to welcome in Forest Springs Director, Jon Classen. All right, well, thanks for doing this, Jon. Can you start off by telling us just a little bit about yourself and your family and what you do here at camp?
Oh, yeah, no problem, Jake. Yeah, our family, Laura and I, well, first of all, we met in Omaha, Nebraska, going to Grace University, and that's where we connected. But I need to back the story up to tell you about how we got connected together and what led us on about my family and everything. Sure. So I went to Grace because of a camp ministry program that was connected to Forest Springs. So that was kind of that history part. So going to Grace was because of connection here to Forest Springs. And that's why I went there, because I didn't have any intent to go to a school in the middle of a city.
Sure.
I'll explain that more. But anyways, so I met Laura there, and I was able to, we were married our third year of college. And so we finished our last year of college married together. And that was really a joy. So throughout the journey, our kids were born in Michigan. There's a journey to get to there, and we could probably talk about that here. But and then we have two children. Dominic is our youngest. He's 19 and currently in Oshkosh, finishing a residential degree program. And Alyssa is graduated from the Emmaus Bible College, and she in digital graphic design. So she's kind of in there. But yeah, our family and Laura and I celebrated 25 years of marriage this year.
Well, congratulations.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you do anything special for that?
Well, we did. Jake, it was fun. We did a couple things special. One was a spontaneous trip to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. It was just really a fun trip. Ocean, really nice. And then another trip, we had friends of ours that were so nice. We went on a cruise to Alaska.
Oh, wow.
So one was in May, the other was in June, and our anniversary is May 29th. So on either side of our anniversary, we kind of did this special trip like crazy, from the tropics to the glacier mountains. It was really wild.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you went to Grace hoping to get involved in camping.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what that meant. What that meant to you.
Yeah. So I've always loved the outdoors growing up, and I actually grew up in a farming community in South Central Kansas, and so the outdoors and actually went to a lot of different camps growing up too. So I always enjoyed the outdoors camp ministry, been a part of it, but never thought about doing something like that. And when I heard about there's actually colleges in the nation that actually have emphasis in camp ministry, Grace was one of them. So that was really the connection when I found out about Grace had this partnership with Forest Springs. It was like, yeah, this makes sense. I'll spend three years at Grace and a year at Forest Springs. And so that was just really an attractive part. So that kind of is what led me to Grace. And of course, Laura and I, our relationship. So first year at Grace, you kind of get to these student socials and all this other thing. And they had this event called FLIRP. And essentially FLIRP was when girls would ask guys to go do something. It wasn't date, it wasn't a banquet, it was just something fun, like a student body function. So a group of 5 girls asked a group of 5 guys, and that I was a part of that group of 5 guys that were all friends together. And we just had this like 2 groups that just, I don't know, we did a bunch of stuff together that first year of college. And and Laura was a part of that group. So we got to know each other through that. So that was kind of a connection there. So, yeah. So
you had known about this connection to Forest Springs, and then you get here as a part of the LTD program. So maybe talk a little bit about your experience as an LTD student.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, first of all, super excited about it. Just think of a whole year spending at camp. And I think the expectation coming in, I know at the time, which was attractive to it, was that I knew I'd be able to see every area of camp. and I was curious about every area of camp. Like I knew, oh yeah, the outdoors, it seemed like at the time programming made sense. Even maintenance growing up on a farm was like, I bet I could do that, all that kind of thing. But it was just really, like I knew I'd get to know every part of camp, and that's what was really exciting about that. And so anticipating that, and then an opportunity to also dream. I knew that a part of my time here would be dreaming of essentially a ministry that maybe the Lord was placing on my heart that I would create from scratch. And I don't know, always had kind of a creative mind when it comes to things like that. So that was attractive to being a part of the LTD program, and knowing that when I visited Forest Springs prior to joining is like, this is an amazing ministry. And I knew there'd be aptitude to know about everything from youth camps to adult retreats to outdoor education to, everything. So
sure. And had you had any experience at Forest Springs before you came for that visit?
No, I didn't. Actually, I just heard of Forest Springs through the college I was attending. And so I came here knowing I would likely spend a year here without even stepping foot here.
Sure.
And when I stepped foot here, I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
what was your dream camp paper about?
It was named Cornerstone Retreat Center. And I kind of had something that was more of a kind of a youth adult flair. So it kind of connects with what we do here as far as having both aspects. But yeah, it was kind of a dream. It was located, I kind of had it in a mountainous area at the time.
Okay.
I, again, love the outdoors. Yeah. I love topography. Places are beautiful. And honest with you, even here in Wisconsin, I love this area. And because of the topography and the Northwoods.
Yeah.
So
well, it's fun.
It's beauty as well.
So after you're done with LTD, what comes after that for you?
Yeah. So Laura and I, finished LTD, and Laura and I got married like literally a month after that. So I went through the LTD program engaged to being married to Laura.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's kind of the time frame. Finished that last year of college. And then from there, honest with you, it was crazy to see how the Lord opened the door to be a part of a ministry, and actually in Montana, where I became the program director of a camp that did all ages, all weeks. And so I kind of went right in by fire as a program director, programming like the all ages, from the youngest ages to the middle schoolers to the high schoolers, all at the same time every week.
Wow.
And so that was kind of the start of the journey. By the way, in that moment, since I'd already had this experience of Forest Springs, it's like I was reaching back and going through all materials, things that I learned here to like, okay, how do we do this? How do we do that? How are some things that would we consider that? So that was really cool. I want to tie together, Jake, if I may, why our kids were born in Michigan. So we started in Montana at a ranch camp there. And then there was a camp in Michigan that was looking to develop a whole outdoor adventure, outdoor education, programming. All they really had was a swim area at the camp. And so a connection to my home pastor, to this camp in Michigan, all got together, and we ended up going there, and then that's served there for 7 years, developing this program. Sure. And that's where our kids were born.
Okay.
And so, but again, connecting everything I learned here at Forest Springs to developing that program. So
Nebraska.
Yeah.
To camp.
Yeah.
To Montana.
Yeah.
Then to Michigan.
Yeah.
How did you get back here?
Okay, there's one more step in there, actually.
Okay.
I missed one more. So I got involved with the Christian Camping Conference Association. It's a national organization. There's about 900 camps in the nation that are part of this I would say camp ministry organization. And as I became aware of all the camps in the United States that are doing what we do, and essentially evangelistic toward youth and adults, I became aware of this camp in Nebraska. That was wanting to really formate from being a youth camp in the summer to being a youth camp in the summer, but retreat year round.
Okay.
And being a part of the 3CA Christian Camping Conference Association, as well as the director that I was serving with or under in Michigan, we said, this is an opportunity. And we was just super supportive in a move to Nebraska, where I served at a camp there as a camp director for 11 years prior to coming here at Forest Springs.
Okay.
So, but you're kind of curious.
Back to Nebraska before you came here.
Okay. Back to Nebraska before I came here.
Okay.
So,
right.
yeah. So, and Jake, I do. it is such a joy to be back here at Forest Springs. It feels like we've come home. As you know, this is where it started. And in that journey, as we were connecting, to come back here was just really special for both Laura and I.
Sure.
In that respects. And so yeah.
So you're serving as the camp director. You were the camp director in Nebraska. You've been in program. You did. What did you do in Montana? You were program director.
Program director there.
Okay,
yeah.
so you've kind of had some experiences in a bunch of different areas.
Yeah.
What is sort of your wheelhouse? Like, what gets you the most excited personally for like the areas of camp? Are you like a program guy at your core? Are you still kind of the farm maintenance? Like, does that get you going? Like, what gets you really excited about?
That's a good question, Jake. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it has changed. I mean, like, there's been emphasis through the time that I've been in camp ministry, but if I trace back, what have I enjoyed the most in every aspect that I'd say ties together everything, is I love the idea of working together, the camaraderie of camp ministry, and that we're serving together. So, I mean, Jake, for me to be on a Wrangler's breakfast in part and helping with program, to be in the kitchen and learning with and helping in food service and to in accommodations, I just enjoy serving with people. I like connecting things, and one of the things that I find joy in is when I do that, to be able to say, "Hey, here's how we can support each other all together at camp."
Sure.
And so. I don't know. I think that's why when I think of the progression from being a program director to developing a program, essentially still in program, and then a camp director in Nebraska, now still serving in that way, I definitely see that as one of the key things. I enjoy serving with people and seeing that people together are all working together with a common goal. So yeah.
Well, you serve here in a leadership capacity. And so I guess I'm wondering, if you had to sort of describe your leadership style, how would you say that you would describe how you lead?
That's a good question. I lead with the idea, I love people. And I think that energizes me when I'm in conversation. And so one of the things that's really important to me is that there's care for people. And I think in my leadership, I see that for our staff. I see that for our guests. I see that for our supporters and things that are involved. That is just an important aspect, because, to be honest, as I love the programs of things like creating new high ropes elements, or by doing serving, making food, or whatever, those are all things that are great, that provide the experience. But really, it when you think about it, it's the people that are around all of that are making them, that's the ministry of what's happening. And so that's really kind of the most important thing. And that's what brings me joy, and I energize in that.
Sure.
So,
what about challenges? What parts do you find challenging?
Oh yeah. Well, in that respects, it's actually some more of the list where I got to put my head down and do the task part of things. And really the task part of things that are more of like, I know I'm the only one that needs to do that as far as the in the role and responsibility, but it's not maybe engaging so much with the people side of things.
Sure.
And so, so when things like, I've said this when I talk to like our LTD staff now, it's like budgeting. I'll use that as an example. I know as a director of camp, I definitely need to understand the budget and know that it's an important part of how we maintain good stewardship of the organization. What helps me through it is knowing that when I'm working and getting budget dollars and putting things together for that what I'm doing is helping the staff in these different areas have clarity to what they're doing. And so that helps me get through. And so then, and on that respects too, that's the task part, but the hard things too is being a people person when I know maybe something is not gone well.
Sure.
And there's this, a disagreement, or a hurt feeling or something that really weighs on me. And so those are hard things to navigate in a leadership role, where I want to be sure. I always strive for unity and camaraderie, and sometimes when that's not there, that hurts. And so we try to strive for that.
So as you think about all of the areas that you get to lead, right? You oversee a lot of different areas here, and you've got this wealth of information and experience. What is it about the ministry here that gets you most excited? Do you just love seeing kids at kids camp, or you just love the discipleship that could happen in Somerset? Like what part of the ministry
do I enjoy the most?
Do you enjoy the most?
Wow, yeah, you're hitting some key things that are heartstrings for me, and it certainly is seeing life changing people, and being able to have a good conversation with either a staff member or a guest. That really is a joy, and I think that's how I would answer into that. So
sure.
yeah.
What about places? So a lot of people have like favorite places around camp. Do you have a favorite place here, or a place that's sort of special to you? Maybe.
Yeah, I do. I love, again, outdoors. So for me, the Lakeshore Trail is one of the things I really enjoy, but there's one spot that I just really find peace at, and I have to go across Rustic Road for that. And it's walking back on this Snowberry Bog Trail, all the way back to, you get to this point on the very end of the trail, it opens up and you just have this quiet waters, you have the trees, the hillside coming around, and it's just, I'll stand or I'll sit there on the dock and just pray and just thank the Lord for many things that I've experienced, and it's just a very peaceful place. So I like to go out there and just find just joy in the Lord there. So yeah.
Cool. I know that there's a lot of different places around here that are special to people. So that's cool to hear that one is special to you. Yeah. One of the things that I think is really interesting about Forest Springs is we often have these sort of moments where we remember like what things have been like, our history, where we've been. But as a director, you have this sort of unique opportunity to shape where we're going. So if you had to sort of put on your like vision casting hat for a moment, what do you think? Where do you think where do you think Forest Springs is going in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah. Well, wow, and especially with the things we've had with multiplication and having, that's just really neat. And, I probably didn't share that, but that's part of why I'm here too, is because we have multiplied in that area and being able to care for this facility. But for Forest Springs here at this location, and one of the things is still carrying on the heart of what Forest Springs has been for 66 years now, since 1958, and saying that we are first a God-first, caring and compassionate organization where and it's the staff, it's our deep connections and transformed lives that we continue to have. That's the most important thing, Jake. It really is. And I'd say any avenue that develops that continues to grow that's the important thing. And so, what's the vision into the future? It's absolutely keeping that core of who Forest Springs and how Forest Springs is where we're at today, because of the transforming power of Jesus Christ, as well as the deep connections and the relationships that we build that are encouraging and sustaining to continued spiritual growth in the Lord. That is key. And so, Jake, that is always our vision. That's always so. Yeah, I can't. There isn't any other thing that would be more important than that.
Sure,
really, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So building on that, then I am curious though. You have budget's not a constraint. Staffing's not a constraint. What program would you love to introduce?
Oh, yeah, good. There actually is one of the things that because of our area and our culture, there's two things that I think are super important. One is our ability to see God's handiwork in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. And so, there's an opportunity for us to build a whole program that's been here, but continue to ramp on it even more with an outdoor ministry center that we have. And this is I mentioned there's multiple aspects to this. What's really neat is that this building provides a space for outdoor education that would actually be it's a place for us to grow and have a space where students can come for outdoor education, for family campers can come and learn about bees and the honeycomb and how they survive. A place for our youth campers to engage and see new things. And also for, in some respects, we are wilderness ministry too that goes out as well. Mm-hmm. And it also, provides housing because this is a multi-site or a multi-purpose building that provides housing for our year-round contract and volunteer staff and our trip staff as well. And so when you mention how that draws together people, draws together the outdoor focus of seeing God in creation, having Him first in our lives, it bridges a lot of things together. So that'd be one thing that we see.
What's the other?
And another is our place of eat. When you break bread, when you eat together around the table, it's just amazing the conversations. That's where some deep connections have come. Mm-hmm. Where I have personally met family campers, or I've had a conversation with a youth camper in the excitement of what they've done in the dining hall. And to have our dining hall grow and with us, essentially, it would be is another future thing that we look forward to growing and expanding. Because right now, when that building was built, we've outgrown it essentially, sure. And so to be able to have fellowship around a table and not feel I have to leave before the next group eats would be a really good point of continuing developing that deep connection aspect that we want to focus on. So
sure.
Yeah.
So no trampoline announcements.
Yeah, no trampoline.
We're not getting into water slides necessarily or anything like that.
While they're fun, none
yes.
yet.
Yes. You heard it here first. What about John when he's not at work?
Oh, yeah.
What are some things that you like to do with your time?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, outdoors. The thing that my wife and I love to do is we like to hike. We like to go kayaking. We both have kayaks, and we'll go out to different lakes in the area. We live in Rib Lake, so we go on Rib Lake quite often.
Sure.
Just to find peace and solitude, talk together. But I really love the outdoors. Always have and continue. So when I'm not here, if you were to say working, you'd find me out doing something outdoors.
Sure.
It is just I don't know. I felt always like a connection with my Lord and Savior in that. I see the beauty of what He's done and the complexity of it as well. And so I really connect well with that. So that's some of the things that we do. And when it gets to be cold, people ask, well, do you still say? Yeah, we're outdoors. Yeah. Snowshoeing. Sure. My wife and I, we got a pair of snowshoes several years ago, and it is just fun to go hike and be out and just the silence. It's interesting when you can get into a spruce grove or something like that, and it's the snow's all on it, and you just stand there, and maybe their flakes are falling. I can remember having this opportunity. This happened before, and it's just so quiet. You can almost hear the snowflakes hitting the ground, and it's just really cool. So I don't know. That's what you'd find me doing. And then when it's really raining and crummy, my wife and I, we love just to watch a movie, to be together and spend time together. So
you were at one point in time a fairly avid hunter.
Oh,
Are
yes.
you still a fairly big hunter?
Yeah, I do. Not what I used to be. Yes,
sure.
You're right, Jake. I do like to be out in the woods and enjoy seeing God's in sitting. It's really what it is. It's sitting still and watching like deer and chipmunks and squirrels and birds and everything just coming around me, and it's so fun actually. And that's the time of just solitude that, even though I'm a people person and enjoy conversation, it's enjoyable to have those moments. So I would still do that on occasion.
Sure.
So I enjoy the outdoors and hunting as well.
I've seen those things in your office, so that's why I've asked.
That's right.
Is there a bear and there's a
bear, there's
a pheasant,
deer, a pheasant. Growing up in Kansas, pheasant and quail hunted all the time. So there's kind of some stories to each one of those, but. Yeah, you're right. I do love the outdoors, and hunting is something that is fun to do. Yes,
We'll have to get one of those from Wisconsin.
We do.
You've got some Kansas or Nebraska. Well, I don't know where they
we have Kansas there, Nebraska. We have Michigan represented, but then I need something from Wisconsin here.
Yeah, well, It's coming up, right?
Yeah, it's
Couple
coming up.
months.
That's right.
I'm a big reader. I love books, and so I like to ask what people are reading and get some recommendations. So, what are some books maybe you've read that you'd recommend?
The last one, it was just before camp here, was Dr. David Jeremiah's, and now I'm just thinking the title of it. It was about the last days, the tribulation.
Okay.
For some reason, the title is slipping my mind right now. Good grief.
That's all right.
But yeah,
look
it really has to do with, recognizing the tribulation, the end times, and what, what's important about that. What are we looking for? What's important about being a Christ follower that's happening at that time? What's important about not being a Christ follower that's happening at that time? And that motivates, in some respects for me, certainly, to say I'm continuing to share the word of God and the relationship I have with the Lord for those that would want that. But yeah, Dr. David Jeremiah, and I can't think of the name of the book off the top of my head right now.
Well, thank you for being willing to come in here and share just a little bit about who you are and share your story.
Sounds good, Jake. Thanks.
Thanks, Jon.
Yeah.
Now we've reached the journey's end. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you out there.